Texas versus Alabama, one of the biggest games of the whole entire college football season. We've been waiting all offseason for this one. Last year was a classic. Alabama barely escaped out of Texas with the win, and if Quinn Ewers never would have got injured, most of us believe that Alabama would have lost that game. Well, here we are, a year later, 2023, Texas is going on the road, and they got to do something that has very rarely occurred in Tuscaloosa, and that's teams coming from another city and beating Alabama in the city of Tuscaloosa. There's only been 2 teams in the last couple of years that have pulled off this rare feat. 2019 LSU, when they were led by quarterback Joe Burrow, and Ole Miss back when they had Hugh Freeze as their head coach. So Texas has a really daunting task ahead of them, going on the road and getting a win in Tuscaloosa. But they got a very great chance at doing it. And as a matter of fact, they got a better chance at beating Alabama this season than what they did last year, because this is one of the most talented rosters in all of college football. I don't care if you agree with that or if you disagree with that. Texas roster speaks for itself. Their offense is freaking insane. Xavier Worthy, Isaiah Nayer, Jordan Whittington, Quinn Ewers. They got a really good offensive line that was very young last year. There's so much talent on this Texas offense that if you can't really give Texas their props and saying that, oh, they got a good team, then I kind of got to say you're a hater. Defensively, many Longhorn fans feel this is the best defense that they've had in a very long time. Very good secondary, very good on the front 7. If this was a team that was looking to make it into the college football playoffs, you feel really good about putting your trust in this year's Texas team. But you look at Alabama, right? And I think that Alabama is being incredibly overlooked. Now, that doesn't mean that people aren't picking Alabama to win this game, but there seems to be a narrative that this Bama team isn't as good as previous Bama teams, and that may be true. But I think that Alabama is still good enough to win a national championship, and if Texas is going to get back to the point that they used to be decades ago, and if we're actually going to have a good reason to scream, Texas is finally back, they're going to have to win this game, all right? And if they win this game, I want you to think about what the perception is going to be about Texas football after. Because don't act like you ain't going to be saying Texas football is back neither if they pull off this win. Because if the Longhorns beat Alabama, they would do something that only 2 teams have done over the last decade. Winning on the road in Tuscaloosa isn't something that you just gloss over and say, oh, it was luck. Like, you went on the road in Tuscaloosa, you got a damn good team. Not anybody just beats Alabama in their own house. So if Texas can pull off this win, I think that this shows us that Texas is actually a legitimate championship contender this year. It's not off-season hype. It's not them being gassed up. It's not nobody drinking the Kool-Aid. If Texas wins this game, I think that everything that's been said about Texas prior to the season started will probably be confirmed. This defense is really good. This offense is really good. But Alabama, though, you kind of think about Jalen Milroe at quarterback. And I did a segment on this the other day, and I asked, can Alabama trust Jalen Milroe against Texas? Can Jalen Milroe get the job done and give Alabama the win? Jalen Milroe is no Bryce Young, nothing close to it, but I think that there's a way Alabama can win this game against Texas with him at quarterback, and I don't think he's going to get benched at all. I think he was the better quarterback of the others that they had in competition, especially better than Tyler Buckner. And even though Jalen Milroe isn't the most polished passer, he's a fantastic athlete. And the last time Alabama had a quarterback with this kind of skill set, they went to the college football playoffs with him. His name was Blake Sims. Jalen Milroe, to me, looks like a way better version and way more juiced up and athletic version than what Blake Sims was. And I think with how great of an athlete Jalen Milroe is, if you're Texas, he's really hard to game plan for. I know it seems easy to say, oh, all we got to do is stack the box and stop him from running and we're going to win this game. Like, Jalen Milroe is more than capable of being able to kill you over the top. He has a strong arm, a very strong arm, and he has good touch on his deep ball. At times, his accuracy can be hit or miss, but when Jalen Milroe is on fire and he's clicking on all cylinders, this Alabama offense can be really difficult to defend. Yes, he isn't going to win any games that you're going to ask him to throw the football 30, 40 times. Alabama probably wants Jalen Milroe throwing the football no more than 25 times at most in this game. Alabama, their offensive philosophy is back to what it used to be in the early days of the Nick Saban era at Alabama. Smash mouth football. We're going to put a lot of emphasis on running the ball and being better and more physical than you on both sides of the ball. And Alabama's defense is as talented as it has been in a couple of years. This may be the most talented defense that Bama has had since 2020. Texas offense is going to get tested in a major way. And Quinn Ewers, he was balling his ass off the last time Alabama played against Texas. I mean, damn. He was looking like a fool possessed out there. He had Xavier Worthy for a beautiful pass last year down the sideline. He was making all kinds of tight window throws. Quinn Ewers looked like that dude against Alabama. Is he going to be able to channel that inner dog in him again this season? Is he going to be able to channel that same performance that he had against Alabama last year, this year? Because you're going to need that. You're not going to beat Alabama having average to okay quarterback play. When you think about the teams that have slayed the beast that is Alabama, they've all had fantastic out-of-this-world quarterback play, or they at least had great team performances. Alabama is going to have the home field advantage. And when they were playing on the road against Texas, Texas home field advantage was a major reason why that game was so close. Texas to beat Alabama, not just do you have to beat Alabama, but you also have to be able to find a way to win with all that crowd noise. It's not the easiest atmosphere to win that. And Quinn Ewers, just how improved is he this season from where he was last year? Because last year, he was inconsistent. He struggled with decision-making at times. He got a little bit paranoid and trigger-happy when he got under pressure at times. This Alabama defensive line, they got a lot of NFL defensive linemen on this year's squad. Guys like Dallas Turner are going to be a really big difference maker for Alabama's defense in this game. And for this offensive line, the talent is there, but you're going against one of the better defensive lines in all of college football. And you're going to need Quinn Ewers to be able to step up and make some big throws when he has guys in his face. Something that he didn't really do a great job at last year. So what I'm trying to say is that while you can say that quarterback is a concern for Alabama in this game, I think that is also fair to say that Quinn Ewers' performance in this game also is something that can be a little bit questionable considering how inconsistent he was last year. We're basing Quinn Ewers going into this game based on the performance that he had against Alabama last year and not the whole entire performance that he had throughout 2022. His 2022 campaign was up and down. He has to really show some huge steps in improvement if Texas is going to win this game. I don't think that Texas is going to be able to win this game if they don't get a superstar performance out of Quinn Ewers. And you may say that's common sense, but Jalen Milroe, I don't think that Alabama needs him to be a Heisman Trophy finalist for them to win this game. They got a great team. They got a better team than Texas. It may not be by a huge margin, but it is a pretty significant margin. They got the highest blue chip ratio out of all teams in college football going into this year. I believe 91% of their roster is comprised of 5 or 4 stars. So for Texas, you got to be buttoned up in this game. You can't have any costly penalties. You can't have turnovers in the red zone. You got to be completely flawless when you're trying to beat Alabama, especially on the road. When you look at LSU, they had a killer mentality when they went into that game. As a matter of fact, LSU, the way they beat Alabama, made Nick Saban a little bit upset to the point that when they played them the following season, Nick Saban said, yeah, we want to come in here and change the way they think. You're going to need your A++ performance if you're Texas, if you're looking to pull off this win against Alabama. I think that last year, Texas had a great performance against Alabama in 2022, but I do think that Alabama kind of didn't play their best football the last time they played Texas. And I believe this time, you're going to have a Nick Saban team that's going to be ready to play. They're going to be mentally dialed in from the opening kickoff to the final whistle. And you wonder if Texas is going to have that same kind of discipline. I'm taking Alabama to win this game. It was really hard for me to come up with a prediction for this matchup because I am really high on Texas. But with them going on the road playing in Tuscaloosa, you're asking them to do something that only two teams have done in nearly the last damn decade. And you got to play some really great football to be able to beat Alabama. And I'm not questioning Texas being able to have the ability to play a great game against Alabama, but I do wonder if them having a great game against Alabama and Tuscaloosa is still enough for them to get the win, especially if Alabama is more dialed in for this year's matchup than what they were last year. I can see this game going either way. It's a coin flip, but give me Alabama because they're going to have to home for the advantage. I trust Jalen Milroe enough that he should be able to make some big plays with his legs and be able to do enough with his arm that should give Alabama the victory. I'm taking the Tide 27-24. That's my final score prediction for this game.